Welcome to Vivid Talk Live. I'm your host, Gwen Witherspoon. I am the Principal and Chief Visionary Officer of Adam Red and Atlanta Branding Agency, and I am the brand strategist and Better Life Coach. Vivid Talk Live is all about your personal and professional development. I am here to help you learn a fresh way of thinking and doing for all you were designed to build. I'm streaming live to Facebook, YouTube, and Periscope. You can watch the stream from those channels and on my website at gwenwitherspoon.com. Replays are available on the website as well and on IGTV and Twitter. Make sure you follow your favorite channels so you'll receive notifications when I go live Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. One of the biggest challenges for small business owners is how they are building. Tonight, we're going to talk about why the foundation, design, and structure of your business are necessary if you want your efforts to thrive. This is going to be good. Please introduce yourself in the comments. Your questions are welcome. Katrina and Ron are my faithful helpers helping me monitor the chat. Thank you so much for joining. Please share the link, invite your friends, tell them about the replays. We'll get right into it right after this. Welcome back. Listen, make sure you follow at Gwen Fuchsias on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Periscope, and Gwen Witherspoon Coach on YouTube. And if make sure you also want to know, I want to make sure you know where to get any additional information about me. Where really this is everything. My website, gwenwitherspoon.com. You can watch live. You can see the little picture there. You can get links to all of the other accounts. And of course, you can watch replays right here. You can find them on your favorite channels and on the website. You can contact me, gwenwitherspoon.com/contact, and you can shop our store and just see all of our social accounts as well. So everything you need to know is right there. And tonight, so hey, Renee, good to see you. And Ron, thank you. So listen, I got some questions for you. How are you building? So I want you to think about that with your company. How are you building? Right? How are you building? We know we're building, right? We're all getting up every day, hustling. We're on our grind, trying to get new customers, trying to tell people about our products, about our services, figuring out ways to serve clients, to fulfill orders. Like, how exciting is it when you get a bunch of orders? And even if it's one, right? You get that one order, packing it up with love, sending that thing out, imagining the customer loving everything about it, or providing a service. You know, we design logos, we do visual identity, we do digital media, we plan digital experiences for our customers, brand experiences. Every time we execute an exceptional event, right? How good does that feel? So you are out here doing the work and doing everything that you need to do to just build up your company, to make more money, to invest in your community, right? And help to support your family. But how are you building? And that's the question I had to ask myself this week. I'm looking at all these different activities that I'm engaging in. Last week, I talked to you about the fact that now I have a team, and the way I worked as an independent, as a glorified freelancer all by myself, those methods will not work if I'm trying to build a team and help the team to thrive, right? So we can all grow together. And so that is forcing me into just there are things I already knew, but I'm at a different stage of growth and development. So now I have to pay more attention to the things that I've known, but now I have to really apply those things in real time, in a real situation. I also talked to you last week about using the franchise model for your business. You want to pretend, you want to behave, you want to build as if you are actually trying to create multiple franchises. Think about McDonald's, all the Starbucks. How many Starbucks are there in your neighborhood, like within a 20-mile radius of you? Because they're franchising, right? They are building so that they can repeat that they can repeat what their success from one neighborhood to the next, from one company, one building to the next, right? So you want to use that model for how you build your business. But when you do it, in order to even get it done as an independent, when you're starting from scratch, you have to really think about the design, the foundation, and the structure of what it is you're trying to do. Now, those ideas are not really as exciting. Maybe design might be a little exciting, but in reality, what we all do, and we talked about it last week as well, we get this, what Michael Gerber, the author of the E-Myth Revisited, he talks about having this entrepreneurial seizure, right? You see a problem, you feel like, or you have a skill and you're like, I can do that. Hey, Brittany. But you act like you can do that by yourself. You get that moment where you think, oh, I can have my own business. I can manage my own time. I can make my own money. He calls that the entrepreneurial seizure. That moment when you think, oh, I can do this. I got it. But when you do that and you don't take the step to become, to really leap all the way to entrepreneur, from technician to manager to entrepreneur, you miss the opportunity to build a business that can be sustained and function without you, right? So what I want to talk about tonight is this These three words: design, foundation, structure. And it's easy when you set out and you decide, oh, I'm going to do something. It's easy to just start spending money, throwing money at it to get it all set up and checking off boxes. But it's harder to take that time to step back and really build the business, to really work on it and really pay attention to how you are building. So that's what I want to get into. So I looked up, though, I was thinking about foundation. That was my first thought when I was really preparing for today. And when you think about foundations, I looked up the word foundation. It really speaks to the fact that a foundation bears the load. And when I was looking at it with regard to construction, like really building a building. And what I learned, construction is not my business, right? But what I learned very quickly was that there are two types of foundations. There's a deep foundation or a shallow. And the higher the building, the deeper the foundation has to be to bear the load. A shallow foundation is acceptable for a lower building. Like, if it's a 1-story home, foundation doesn't have to be very deep. But, a skyscraper, hundreds or 79, 80, whatever floors, that the higher it goes, the deeper that foundation has to be to bear the load, right? And that really got me thinking, if you have to think about what it is, and that goes to design, right? What are you creating? And based on what you're creating, then you've got to give that much attention to the foundation, so that as you build, it can bear the load of where you're trying to go. In business, we talk about scaling. You can make a product by yourself by hand. I have a flip book I make. I literally, other than I don't actually like print the words, print the lines, but I get the printing done, and physically everything else about that book, I'm putting it together myself by hand. Like literally stamping the grommets, putting them in with the device, like everything, tying the elastic, sewing it up. So we can do that when you're small. If I'm just doing 1 or 2 here, there, 5, 10, 12, I can do that by myself. But if I want to scale, if I want to get to 1,000 books, if I want to get to 10,000, to 100,000, I can't do it the same way, right? But I'm laying a foundation now. I'm determining what I want this product to be like. I'm testing it. I'm using it. I'm selling it. Other people are using it. I'm taking their feedback. I'm improving the product. But when I'm ready to really release it effectively, then I need to be able to scale. And part of the scale is, one, I got to design where I'm trying to go. First, I got to decide what is it exactly that I'm creating. And when you design something, you're basically creating, and I love this. This is the definition I found. It's a plan that shows the look and the function. And it says that it's done before building. Isn't that beautiful? You have to design your business before you build. And what we like to do is we get an idea. Yeah, I can do this. We jump in. We get a bank account. We do, or we don't even get a bank account. We add the money to our personal accounts and we roll, right? We just run. And one of the things that I was thinking about this too, because through this COVID situation, so many businesses, like we just keep hearing all the words, in addition to all of the people who are dying from the disease, we keep hearing about all these companies that have closed, and really hearing about more and more. We haven't yet understood the depth of the devastation for the small business owners around the country, especially in the United States. I mean, specifically in the United States. But so these people, there are so many there's so many companies, like we're hearing about all the money that was distributed by the U.S. government, supposedly going to help small businesses. But there are so many small business owners that I know of who couldn't even qualify, or in their own minds, their first thought was, that money's not for me. I don't qualify. So then they didn't ask any questions. I was one of those. And then when I someone came to me and told me more about the programs, and I went, oh, I do qualify for this money. But why didn't I think I qualified? I didn't think I qualified because of the way my business was structured, because of the way I've been practicing and doing business. And so there are so many who believed that and did not qualify because of the structure, or because of the lack of structure in their business. And so many times when you are small and you're starting out by yourself on your own, one of the things that you really, what we fail to do is we fail to put in place, first of all, to lay a solid foundation that we can build on. And then if we have a foundation of some kind, we fail to design where we really want to go before we start laying a foundation, right? Because you can make money, but are you just interested in making money, or are you interested in building a business? Are you interested in building something that, like we talked about last week, something that you could sell, something that could function without you? That's different than just being on your hustle and getting an extra stream of income. So you got to design create a plan that shows what it is exactly, how your business, how you want it to look, how you want it to function, where you're going. It's vision, right? Vision is about having that a big picture out on the horizon of something that's greater than you, that you need to try to accomplish. And the design is the plan that to get you there, right? So the other piece of that, the other question I asked myself was, can you build, and I'm going to ask you this question, can you build a house without a frame? Can you do it? No, right? The house has to have a foundation. Then the foundation has to have a frame. So I was thinking of that. That's really the structure of the house. It needs a solid foundation to bear the load of the house and to bear the load of the type of house you are building. But the house itself will never become a house without structure, right, Brittany? Not at all. You cannot. So do you have a structure for your business? Better yet, let me ask you, what is the structure for your business? In times past, I've tried to, you probably like me, try to create business plans, or try to fill out loan applications, or try to create a marketing plan. Like when I know Brittany's getting her MBA. So when I was in my MBA program, I had to write a strategic plan as my capstone in order for me to be able to graduate. And when you write the strategic plan, there are so many questions that you have to answer. And oftentimes what I would find, especially if you deal with the government, if you're dealing with a bank situation where the paperwork is complex and complicated and big old stacks, and you have to give all these proof, oftentimes those things are the things that intimidate us and keep us from even trying. Because we're like, ooh, this is too hard. There's too many questions. I don't know the answers. Well, we don't know the answers because you haven't, designed what it is, the look and feel, and what you're trying to build. And then you haven't laid a foundation so that you can build, so that it can bear the load of what it is you're trying to create. And then once you do, even if you've done those things, then you don't have a structure that really is going to support what you're trying to build. So then what we do is we spin our wheels doing a lot of activities that don't produce a lot of results. And oftentimes we can't really even say what we're producing because we haven't taken the time to create a structure that would help us understand where we are getting results and where we're not. And so I'm in the middle. I told you, every week I'm telling on myself. So this week I'm spending more time, just even before we started Vivid Talk Live tonight, I was spending some time on the structure. I'm reaching out to Dun & Bradstreet and all those things. And I remember I created my Dun & Bradstreet account, at least 7 years ago, could have been before that. And what I realized is I have never really intentionally and purposefully built up that account or utilized it to its fullest, right? And here I am in a situation where now I have to build in a different way. I'm looking to find, I got to get equipment for my team. We have to have more resources available. And so I went to go set up an account somewhere. I'm not going to tell you where. And when I went to set up the account, the first thing they asked for was my DUNS number. Well, I have a DUNS number, but there was some other information about my DUNS number that I needed to update and finish. And I started it, but I hadn't finished it. And what that reminded me of was how important it is for us to structure our businesses effectively, to put ourselves in a situation, because I have this DUNS account that I just haven't been using. I haven't intentionally been adding, my records to it, my accounts. I've been paying accounts faithfully, building up my revenue, all those things, but I wasn't intentionally putting this information in this system. And what it just made me remember or realize that oftentimes we're better off than we think we are, but because we haven't set up a structure and we haven't put in place just the mechanisms that we need to actually grow a business, many times, most of us are really just, we have hobbies, and we're calling ourselves businesses, giving ourselves CEO titles, but we're not functioning like a CEO. We're just providing a service to it, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But what happens is when we make a decision, a double-minded man, the Bible says, is unstable in all his ways. So if in one mind you're saying, I'm a business owner, I'm a boss, I'm running things, I'm the CEO, but then on the other side, you're putting all the bottles together, putting all the products in. I'm talking about you, Renee, but not talking about you personally. So I'm hoping you are my example in my head, but I don't know anything specifically about what you're doing. So I'm not calling you out personally, except that I called your name. Other than that, but the bottom line is, and I can say it of myself, I'm putting together the flip books, putting on all the elastic. So I can't be the CEO and putting on elastic all at the same time. I have to make a decision about how I'm building. Investing my time in structure, designing where I want to go, and then I can put myself in a position to thrive. And so that's what tonight is about. Are you building to thrive, or are you just building? And this is the other thing. You can ask yourself that question, and thriving could mean something different to you than it does to me. So what I don't want you to do is beat yourself up, criticize yourself, be all mad and disappointed and hurt and just really get yourself lost in all these negative emotions. I want you to just really ask the question and give a good, solid, honest answer, because whatever the answer is, if you want to do something different, if your vision is greater than where you are right now, you have to determine what's the difference. Where am I now, and where would I like to be? And then what am I doing right now that could possibly keep me from getting to that vision that I see on the horizon, to the place where I really want to go? And then are you really creating a plan to get you there? And we just finished with the Red Ink virtual conference this past weekend. And they were talking about helping authors, would-be authors, to write their books, finally, helping you understand the process and just all the details of it. And I remember doing one of the sessions, one of the speakers made a point that you don't have to write your book sequentially. Like, we think that writing a book means you sit down, you write from the beginning to the end, and everything in between, all in order. And if you try to write something, you get to a point and you're stuck, then we stop and we don't do it at all. So I think we do the same thing. I know I've done it in the past. Do the same thing with a business plan. You get to some place in the process, you can't answer the question, you stop. Or some discipline in your business that you don't understand. Rather than finding an answer, finding someone who knows the answer, or getting, like Brittany and I were talking about earlier, go find a template somewhere. Use the template as a jumping off point. Get the information you need, make some decisions, ask yourself some questions, do the work, press through, figure it out. Don't stop. Because I'm telling you, how would you feel if somebody was building you a house and they didn't quite know how to set up the frame for your door, so they just don't create a frame for a door? What happens? So how are you going to get in your house? So they have to figure it out. So that's the way you got to think about your business. You can't say, I don't know how to build a frame for the door, so I'm not even going to worry about that. I'm going to go over here and do whatever I want, right? Exactly, Brittany. You got to figure it out. You have to answer the question. And we just got a new business manager on the Adam Red team, and I'm working with her talking about how one of the first things I said was we need to go ahead and find opportunities, like how can we fund our equipment. And it's easy to go, oh, I don't have any money, right? I don't have money. I don't have people. We can focus on all the things that we feel like we don't have and everything that we're deficient in our business, and then just go on and continue doing everything like business as usual, just doing what we understand. But then you're not building to thrive. Your business isn't thriving. If you don't know, if you don't have income and expense projections, if you don't have profit and loss statements, if you don't have your accounting set up, if you don't have bookkeeping in place, you don't have a business account, you don't have a process, like so many things that we do as small business owners, as entrepreneurs, as solo hustlers, right? On our grind, so many times it can be just counterproductive. We're saying we're going one direction, but we're doing things that produce a different result. And what we have to do, if you want to build your business so it can thrive, so you can thrive, so you are not working your fingers to the bone, working around the clock. You might enjoy working. I like working. I like producing. I like creating. I like making things. I like being productive. I like making a difference. So all of that I get very excited about. But what I'm learning now that I'm building my company and it is requiring 12, 13, 14-hour days. I'm pushing 60, 70 hours a week on a regular basis. I'm going, you know what? I think a little more rest would be much more delightful. So I'm thriving now because I'm having an opportunity to build what I believe God has put me on the earth to do, and help me to do it with a team of people that I believe in and who believe in me. So that's rewarding and exciting. But let me tell you, I'm looking forward to the days when I can jump in a van, drive across country, go see my grandson. My husband and I can go fly to some country and just hang out and do whatever we want to do because that's the fruit. We can enjoy the fruit of our labor. I'm looking forward to that. To me, that's another level of thriving. I'm thriving now. We are thriving now. But how about let's go to the next level? So for you, what is that next level for you? What do you need? What would you consider to be thriving for your business? And what kind of foundation have you laid? What plan have you created to just communicate the look and the function of this business that is going to support the life, that the ideal life, your play, right? We talked about living your life at play in earlier episodes. How would you define living life at play, and what kind of company do you need to make that possible for you? And what structure do you need to put in place so you can build on it and that business can become exactly what it is that you envision so that it can serve your life? So 3 things: design. What are you creating? You got to answer these questions. Foundation. What kind of foundation are you building? Does it need to be deep, or does it need to be shallow? And it's okay for it to be shallow. So again, we're not comparing. Don't compare your foundation to somebody else's foundation. Don't compare your design to somebody else's design. If anything, you can look around and see what other people are doing to see if there's some hint of what it is you want to do, and take the pieces from all these different places so you can bring that in to design a plan for what you want to do that is reminiscent of who you are and where you're going and what you want to do and what you believe is going to cause, or what you define as thriving. That's how you do it. You're not looking to other people in other places so you can compare yourself to them and come up short, or compare yourself to them and gloat and stick your chest out. What we're trying to do is we're looking around for just traces, We're looking around for the raw materials that we need to design the plan for your business and where you're headed, right? And then the structure. Can you build a house without a frame? What kind of frame does your business need so that you can build on it and your business can thrive? And that structure really dictates, structure is about relationships. Structure has to support the relationships in your business and your communication, because marketing and branding and all those things, all those are about communication. Think about the work relationships you've had in the past. What made that a good job or a bad job? I would bet that many times it wasn't how much money you were making totally, because you could be making a lot of money and you're working with people that you cannot stand or that you feel like don't respect you, and that could make that a very difficult and hostile situation to work in, even if you're making good money, right? So relationships and communication are the most important thing for any endeavor, whether you are working for somebody else or you're building your own. And so when you are building your own, you got to think about what kind of structure is going to support the relationships that you need within your company and outside of it. So internally, you have to be building a team. You have to create something that gives you the opportunity to be the best version of yourself and gives your business the opportunity to thrive without you, to succeed without you, to run without you. And then you can live any kind of life that you want, and you can help provide a good, sound existence for somebody else. So you must create a structure that supports that internal communication with you and your team. And again, remember last week we talked about the fact your team could be third party, it could be contractors, it doesn't have to be like full-time employment. So I want you to think about, in terms of team, what it is you're doing. If you have a manufacturer, your manufacturer is part of your team, right? So your communication within that team, now, they also are a vendor potentially. So that vendor relationship, that external relationship, you definitely want that as well. And the professional services that you need, that structure to communicate with them. Now we have bankers, and the thing is, what I've done as an independent and as a solo artist, as a solo entrepreneur, oftentimes, like my early days especially, I'm used to credit unions and personal relationships, or just going into a bank and depositing my money and, withdrawing it and spending it. That was it. I wasn't used to a banker, having a relationship with a banker. So you got to remember that your structure will dictate those relationships, and you need a structure. And so I need a relationship with the bank where they're going to help me learn how to establish business credit. How do I get in a better situation? So you have that relationships that helps your business to grow and thrive, and you do everything you can with your structure to cultivate that, as opposed to having this transactional situation, right? So we want to create a structure that is making the relationships and communication with our customers and our clients. Customers, if you sell a product; clients, if you provide a service, you want to make that your structure support those relationships. If you heard of CRMs, a CRM is a customer relationship management system. Marketing, communication, automation. We provide all those services, and those are technical terms. But the purpose of the terms is to manage those relationships, to cultivate the relationships, and to give you take the function, the system, the processes you've created that you repeat over and over and over, to systematize those and organize those in a way that make your communication and the cultivation of the relationships that you have with your customers to make that easier, right? So design, foundation, structure. That's what you got to focus on for your business, because you want to design your company to last. That's all I got for you tonight. Built to thrive. How are you building? So Thank you so much for joining me tonight. Once again, I want to take you to my website just so you remember, GwenWitherspoon.com. I'm going to be adding some other elements and stuff here soon. I keep telling you I'm going to blog, but at some point I'm actually going to follow through and make that happen. But GwenWitherspoon.com is where you get everything. That's the easy place to go. Follow me on Facebook. We're going to click the right buttons. Follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, at Gwen Fuchsias and Periscope, and Gwen Witherspoon Coach on YouTube. We'll see you next week.